We're live from New Delhi, watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. India's diplomatic outreach on Operation Sindoor begins. First all-party delegation to leave for four-nation tour of UAE and West African countries. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar meets with Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen in Copenhagen, lauds Denmark's support in the fight against terrorism. US President Trump unveils plans for $175 billion Golden Dome defense shield for US, says it should be fully operational in 3 years. EU-Britain go ahead with new Russian sanctions without waiting for Trump. Russia says it rejects ultimatums. Italian PM says Pope willing to host talks. And in sports, shooter Adrian Karmakar opened India's account at the ISSF Junior World Cup 2025 with a silver in the men's 50-meter rifle prone event. And on to the details now. After befitting reply to Pakistan's aggression with a successful conduct of Operation Sindoor launched in the wake of dastardly Pahalgam terror attack, India will begin its diplomatic outreach to further expose Pakistan, which has been promoting terrorism as its state policy. Out of the 7 multi-party delegation formed to reach out to the international community on Pakistan's nefarious design and India's successful anti-terror operation, first will embark for a four-nation tour of UAE and West African countries on Wednesday. The delegation, led by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Shinde, will be visiting the United Arab Emirates, Liberia, Congo and Sierra Leone. Apart from Sasmit Patra and Shrikant Eknath Shinde, the other members of this particular delegation are Basuri Swaraj, Atul Garg and Manan Kumar Mishra, along with opposition members including Indian Union Muslim League MP Mohammad Bashir and Sujan Chinoy. Another 6 delegations will also begin their tour in the coming days. The delegations will visit a total of 32 countries till 5th of next month to present India's firm stand against Pakistan-sponsored terrorists. And the Indian diplomatic outreach on Operation Sindoor through all-party delegations visits to key partner countries will start on Wednesday, with the first of the 7 delegations set to leave for the UAE. DD India's Vinod Kumar files this report from Dubai.
In the wake of Operation Sindoor, India has launched a major diplomatic initiative dispatching 7 multi-party delegations to 32 countries. The aim? To explain the rationale behind its counter-terrorism operation, reinforce its global narrative and counter emerging misinformation. The delegation to the United Arab Emirates will start their campaign on May 21st onwards. The group is led by Member of Parliament Shrikant Shinde and 7 other MPs, which include Bansiri Swaraj, E.T. Mohammad Bashir, Atul Garg, Dr. Sasmit Patra, Manan Kumar Mishra, along with former Minister of State S.S. Ahluwalia and former senior diplomat Sujan Chinoy. The delegation's 2-day visit will begin with high-level engagements in Abu Dhabi on Thursday. Confirmed meetings include interaction with His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, followed by discussions at the UAE Federal National Council with Dr. Ali Al-Nuwami and members of the Council's key committee. They are also scheduled to meet with officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and National Media Office. A media interaction with the newspaper National is expected later in the day, followed by a meeting with the strategic political affairs analyst Amjad Taha. A key highlight of the visit will be the delegation's outreach to the Indian community, scheduled at the Indian Embassy's auditorium in Abu Dhabi. On Friday, the group will visit the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy for discussions with Director General Nikolai Mladinov, and in Dubai, the delegation will participate in policy dialogue hosted by the Fikr Institute and is expected to give interviews to media houses including Gulf News and Khaleej Times. The team will depart early Saturday morning to Kinshasa, continuing India's extensive global engagement. This is Vinod Kumar for DD India.
NTD India's Akshay Dongre joins us for more on this. Well, Akshay, out of the 7 first all-party delegation to leave for the 4-nation tour of UAE in West African countries today, how important is this diplomatic mission in showing India's determination to fight terrorism, especially in light of Operation Sindoor?
Well, we have already demonstrated most of it, Lipakshi. It's just now that we have to convey to the world that what exactly have we done, why have we done it, and how it's not just a fight of India. India is fighting for. It's fight for the world. It's global terrorism is a menace to the world. It's not just India that is getting impacted with Pakistan-based terrorism. We have seen countries such as even the USA was directly impacted with the kind of terror hubs that are operating from Pakistan, both at the eastern as well as the western borders. Now the borders with Afghanistan also have breeding ground for terrorists to attack in Afghanistan, to blackmail the Western nations as far as their operations in the West Asian region is concerned. To also the eastern side, obviously, you have India, you have the state of Jammu and Kashmir. You also have Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where these terrorists have been breeding for far too long, and the world failed to act for it. India is taking that responsibility. India has taken that burden to fight against global terrorism, because if left unchecked, it can mean a menace not only to the region but to the world. That is the message that the all-party delegations are also carrying as far as the fight against terrorism is concerned. But the second thing also is to counter the Pakistani propaganda. One thing that you would have to give credit to the ISPR and Pakistani agencies is that they can peddle a lot of fake news, fake narratives, and to garner sympathies in global community. That has been their forte. Perhaps that has also helped them with the kind of budget, the kind of loans that they get from IMF and the World Bank. But India has decided to put a full stop to it, to expose this propaganda, not by speaking inside other country, but going ahead and telling it to the world.
Also, Akshay, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri yesterday briefed the MPs, and the message is strong: one mission, one message, one Bharat. Considering that many of the target countries are current or former members of the UN Security Council, what makes India's decision to send 7 delegations to 33 nations especially meaningful in this context?
Well, it's meaningful in every context. As you see, the United Nations Security Council ultimately takes decisions on a lot of world issues. We are talking about permanent as well as the non-permanent members, and the members who are going to be the next chair as non-permanent members of the UNSC starting from 2026. So it's a planning that has been done, which has included all of the aspects, and it is done to ensure that the world gets the message of India's action against terrorism. As far as the messaging is concerned, that's also quite clear. India has taken this step to act against terrorism. After the dastardly Pahalgam attack, we have to tell the world, because it has been observed that Pakistan has been trying to go to the world stage, carrying this sob story, and that has to be countered by the Indian efforts as well. So it's very meaningful. You have rightly asked this question. It's very meaningful because the world has to be aware. The decision-making bodies have to be aware of what is happening in the world, how India is reacting, and why is India reacting. It's not an aggressive act. It's not an offensive act. It's quite a defensive act. It's a retaliatory response that India has given, and it will continue to give if these terror hubs remain unchecked. So it's not just up to India, but the world will also have to take responsibility as far as strengthening India as far as this fight against terror is concerned, instead of aiding Pakistan, which is on all certainty going to use anything that it gets in form of help to aid only terrorism.
Absolutely, Akshay. Also, you've been mentioning about Pakistan's narrative. In fact, by confronting Pakistan's narrative on terrorism, could this campaign be viewed as a strategic masterstroke by the Indian government? And in what ways might it bolster India's position internationally?
Well, it happens almost every time there is a major terror attack or action taken by India. As a matter of fact, a lot of other countries also do it. It's a set practice as far as a narrative is concerned, countries have to build their narrative. It has happened earlier too, that an all-party delegation usually visits these countries. So in a way, it's quite funny that Pakistan also has now started to copy paste the same methodology that the Indian diplomats and the Indian Foreign Affairs Ministry, External Affairs Ministry is taking, because Pakistan has also announced their own team after India's decision. So you can see the kind of narrative building Pakistan is after. So you have to counter that, and it's going to be very meaningful, because in international relations, you don't have relatives, you don't have best friends, you have strategic allies, which who will act according to their own betterment, their own benefit. They're not going to come and help you as a form of charity in any case whatsoever. So you have to build your narrative. You have to tell that why this fight also impacts you, why this fight is also concerned with you, and that is only when you can expect some sort of help coming in, because in strategic games, as India also rises, there also seems to be sort of an attitude as far as a country outside the global south are concerned, that India already is too secure, it's too strengthened. There has been sort of a narrative building by Pakistan that it is the country that is being acted against, and has been trying to shift the whole thing. But that has to be countered, and that is the meaning of this whole all party delegation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Akshay, for all those insights and details. And moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar expressed his gratitude for Denmark's solidarity in the fight against terrorism and for the warm reception he received upon his arrival in the Nordic country on Tuesday. The EM was received by Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, and key discussions focused on advancing the India-Denmark Green Strategic Partnership were held. This underscored both nations' commitment to deepening bilateral cooperation and addressing global challenges. Taking to social media platform X, Dr. Jaishankar said, and I quote, "Thanks PM Mette Frederiksen for warmly receiving me in Copenhagen this evening. Conveyed the personal greetings of PM Narendra Modi. Thanks Denmark for its solidarity and support in combating terrorism. Value Prime Minister Frederiksen's guidance to take forward our green strategic partnership and widen the canvas of our cooperation." Unquote. Well, earlier, Dr. Jaishankar also concluded a successful two-day official visit to the Netherlands from May 19th to 20th, underscoring the strategic partnership between the two nations. The visit featured high-level meetings with top Dutch leadership, including Prime Minister Dick Schoof, Foreign Minister Casper Veldkamp and Defence Minister Ruben Brekelmans, and focused on strengthening cooperation across various sectors from trade, technology and defence. During the visit, Dr. Jaishankar also interacted with representatives of the Indian diaspora in the Netherlands. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is on an official visit to the Netherlands, Denmark and Germany from May 19th to the 24th. And the Meeting the Retreat ceremony at the Wagah-Tari border has resumed on Tuesday after a 12-day pause. The retreat ceremony at the Tari border is a poignant emblem of national security and patriotism, featuring the traditional flag-lowering ritual. The solemn event naturally captures the attention of spectators. This ceremony increases the feeling of gratitude and respect towards the armed forces among the countrymen, and it instills pride in the country and new energy for serving the nation. However, according to sources, some changes have been made in this drill as per necessary security measures after the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Previously, the gates of the border were opened and the parade was conducted as a joint drill. Now, the sources said the gates will remain closed during the parade and there will be no handshakes during the drill. Also, there will be no exchange of sweets or gifts on any occasion. Following Operation Sindoor, the ceremony was temporarily closed to visitors. In the present circumstances, this program of Border Security Force has been once again open to the public, so that through this unique display of patriotism, the bond between the security forces and the public can be strengthened and awareness towards border security can also be increased simultaneously. And still to come, DD India News Hour. Many Amrit Bharat Station scheme railway stations to be inaugurated on May 22nd as India accelerates development in Amrit Kal. Nation salutes heroes of Operation Sindoor as Tiranga Yatra stir patriotic fervour in Hyderabad and Rajasthan too. And India's Banu Mushtaq wins International Booker Prize 2025 for the short story anthology Heartland. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, India has taken the path of rapid development in the Amrit Kal under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi will virtually inaugurate 100+ railway stations nationwide on the 22nd of May, including 5 in Chhattisgarh, Ambikapur, Dongargarh, Bhanupratappur, Bhilai 3 and Urkura. Ahead of the event, Saharanpur station has also been transformed under the Amrit Bharat Yojana, earning praise from the locals for its development. While India is on a front foot developing all the railway connectivity of the nation, the Amrit Bharat Station scheme is a long-term plan to improve railway stations across India in a step-by-step manner. Under this, Gogamedi station in Hanumangarh, Rajasthan has been modernized by North Western Railway Division, costing 14.06 crore rupees. The goal is to make stations cleaner, more comfortable and easier to use. In Maharashtra's Nagpur division, the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Itwari station has been developed with all the facilities under the Amrit Bharat Station scheme. Also equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, the station now aims to cater more travellers. Parking facilities with roads access have also been prepared for the virtually impaired. Newly built waiting rooms provide a better outlook while maintaining cleanliness. This platform redefines the travel measures for localities and other passengers. Hyderabad residents expressed happiness over the development of Begumpet railway station under the Amrit Bharat Station scheme. The station, redeveloped at a cost of 26.55 crore rupees, has been transformed into a modern transit hub with advanced passenger amenities reflecting Telangana's rich heritage. The revamped station, handling around 100 trains daily, is set to be virtually inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on May 22nd as part of the inauguration of 103 Amrit Bharat stations across India.
Begumpet station is selected as a part of Amrit Bharat Station scheme. On account of Amrit Bharat Station scheme, improvised international facilities have been provided for Begumpet for the passengers, like massive departure halls, number of booking counters, ATVMs. Special facilities have also been provided for the Divyangjans regarding the parking, their seating areas, toilets, and international level facilities have been arranged at our station so that passenger would feel elated when they arrive at a station.
This is a very proud moment for us, for which there are two aspects for which we can be very happy and very proud. One being the whole Begumpet station is a total women's station. Whatever aspect of working condition here, it is being manned by only women staff. It is either booking or ticket checking, the security, or each and every department is being manned by all women staff. Further, this station has been redeveloped with all the basic and advanced facilities to facilitate the passenger to have a very happy and an airport experience when they come and leave the Begumpet railway station.
Begumpet station
And on to some weather update now from across the country. India Meteorological Department, which has issued multiple warnings for heavy to extremely heavy rainfall across parts of the country. Let's take a closer look at the regions affected. The IMD has issued a red alert for south interior Karnataka and coastal Karnataka, where residents are advised to prepare for heavy to very heavy rainfall with the possibility of isolated extremely heavy showers over the next 2 days. An orange alert is also in effect for Kerala, North Interior Karnataka, Konkan and Goa, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Marathwada. These areas can expect heavy rainfall occasionally, tipping into very heavy showers. Moving westward, Goa, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and the Konkan regions are likely to witness very heavy to extremely heavy rainfall in the next 2 days. In Mumbai, the IMD has forecast moderate to heavy showers beginning May 21st. Bengaluru is still grappling with the aftermath of the significant downpour over the weekend. Several areas saw waterlogging, vehicles submerged and homes flooded. According to the IMD, the city recorded nearly 40 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours. Now to the national capital, Delhi recorded a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday. However, with 43% humidity, it felt closer to 50 degrees, making conditions extremely uncomfortable for the residents. But there is a silver lining. The IMD has issued a yellow alert for thunderstorms, lightning, dust storms and strong surface winds in Delhi. Light rain and thunderstorms in recent days have provided some relief from the scorching heat, though humidity levels remain high. NTT India's Tapas Bhattacharya joins us for more on the weather. Well, Tapas, IMD has issued red and orange alert for several south and western states. What's the latest?
Absolutely, you're bang on there. In fact, IMD has been talking about it for the last 1 week on, back in the last week, and they mentioned the fact that the continuous presence of a cyclonic circulation down south has led to the severe downpour that we saw in the weekend, and things improved a bit, and we expect the intensity to go down a little bit, but not much. For the simple reason, they have issued a red warning for South Interior Karnataka and coastal Karnataka, which means that very heavy to very heavy rainfall activity is expected in these areas. In fact, some places may even have isolated extremely heavy rainfall, which we have been seeing. Thus, the red alert has come into effect. There is also an orange alert that has been issued for Kerala, North Interior Karnataka, Konkan, Goa, Maharashtra and Marathwada area. These areas where heavy rainfall activity is predicted by the IMD. We spoke to a senior scientist right in the morning, and they believe that, as I mentioned, the intensity might go down a little bit. Things may improve in the next couple of days, but the rain activity, the rainfall activity will expected to stay over these areas. There are a couple of reasons behind that. We expect a low pressure area to develop by 21st, that is today, near the west coast area in the Arabian Sea. Although it will be on the sea, but we will still have a bit of an impact of that. There is also, we expect in the next 3 to 4 days, the monsoon to arrive in Kerala. Once that happens, it will have also a bearing on Kerala as well as the coastal areas of Karnataka. As I mentioned earlier also, that the rainfall activities is not expected to go down anytime soon because of these two reasons. And as I said, as you mentioned also in your report about Delhi, although the temperature is just hovering near the 40 degrees Celsius, but because of the high humidity that is prevalent in the atmosphere, it feels quite hot, and that's one reason we believe that yesterday also there was a prediction, but the rainfall didn't happen. We believe that there is a high chance of rainfall activity today. So if you are a Delhiite, if you're planning to go out, to carry an umbrella just to be on a safer side. Lipakshi.
All right, Tapas, just to reiterate, yellow alert for Delhi as well. Thank you so much for all that information. And moving on, in a significant nationwide outreach effort, a Tiranga Yatra is being held in various parts of the country to honor the courage and sacrifice of Indian Armed Forces following the successful Operation Sindoor in response to horrific Pahalgam terror attack. In Hyderabad, the Tiranga Yatra was graced by Indian Army officers and veterans who led the rally with dignity and pride. Throughout the route, citizens showered flowers upon the marchers, offering a warm and heartfelt welcome. In Rajasthan, State Chief Minister Bhajanlal Sharma attended the Tiranga Yatra at Jaipur, with locals excitedly chanting patriotic slogans and showing unwavering support to the Indian Defence Forces for their bravery and sacrifice during the Operation Sindoor. Speaker of the Lower House of Indian Parliament Om Birla attended Tiranga Yatra in Bundi, Rajasthan. The procession witnessed mass participation from people from all walks of life. They were seen carrying the tricolour and chanting patriotic slogans. An Indian Navy will induct and unveil the name of the ancient stitched ship during a ceremonial event on 21st of May 2025 at Naval Base Garwar. India's Minister of Culture, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, will preside over the ceremony as the chief guest, formally marking the induction of the ship into the Indian Navy. The stitched ship is a recreation of a 5th century CE ship inspired by a painting from the Ajanta caves. The project was formally initiated through a tripartite agreement signed in July 2023 between the Ministry of Culture, the Indian Navy and Messrs. Hodi Innovations with funding from the Ministry of Culture. The keel laying of the stitched ship took place on 12th of September 2023. The construction of the stitched ship was carried out using entirely traditional methods and raw materials by artisans from Kerala, led by master shipwright Babu Sankaran, who executed thousands of hand-stitched joints. The ship was launched in February 2025 at Mazars Hodi Shipyard, Goa. The completion of the stitched ship construction not only reaffirms India's rich shipbuilding legacy, but also reflects the Indian Navy's commitment to preserving and operationalizing the living traditions of India's maritime heritage. An Indian writer, lawyer, activist, Banu Mushtaq has scripted history by winning the International Booker Prize 2025 for the short story anthology Heart Lamp. It is the first book written in the Kannada language, which is spoken in the southern Indian state of Karnataka, to win the prestigious prize. The book marks the first win for a title translated from Kannada. The stories in Heart Lamp were translated into English by Deepa Bashti. Lawyer and activist Banu Mushtaq will split the £50,000 prize money with Deepa Bashti. Featuring 12 short stories written by Mushtaq over 3 decades from 1990 to 2023, Heart Lamp poignantly captures the hardships of Muslim women living in southern India. And still to come in DD India News Hour. G7 finance leaders meet in Canada over key global issues. Ukraine conflict, tariffs dominate economic agenda. UN says no aid distributed yet in Gaza. 14,000 babies at risk without immediate relief. And Madame Tussauds London unveils stunning New York figure of Princess Kate, styled new wax figure of Princess Kate, styled in 2023 diplomatic reception gown.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India's diplomatic outreach on Operation Sindoor begins. First all-party delegation to leave for four-nation tour of UAE and West African countries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets with Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen in Copenhagen, lauds Denmark's support in the fight against terrorism. President Trump unveils plans for $175 billion Golden Dome defense shield for US, says it should be fully operational in 3 years. EU, Britain go ahead with new Russia sanctions without waiting for Trump. Russia says it rejects ultimatums. Italian Prime Minister says Pope willing to host talks. And in sports, shooter Adrian Karmakar opened India's account at the ISSF Junior World Cup 2025 with the silver in the men's 50-meter rifle prone event. And US President Donald Trump unveiled a $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense shield on Tuesday, naming Space Force General Michelle Gauthier to lead the project. While the system involving hundreds of satellites is designed to defend against threats from China and Russia, speaking from the Oval Office, Trump said Canada expressed interest in joining the effort. The initiative faces political and financial hurdles with scrutiny over the bidding process and concerns over SpaceX's role. Key defense contractors, Palantir and Anduril, are also contenders in building system components.
This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. I'm also pleased to report that the One Big Beautiful Bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed.
And moving on, the United Nations said on Tuesday that no aid has yet been distributed in the Gaza Strip, a day after Israel allowed limited humanitarian deliveries to resume after an 11-week blockade. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said 4 trucks of baby food were dropped off on the Palestinian side of the border on Monday and that a few dozen trucks with other basic items entered Gaza on Tuesday. UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher said earlier that 14,000 babies would die in Gaza in the next 48 hours if aid supplies don't reach them. In response, Israel said around 100 aid trucks had been transferred to the Gaza Strip and it plans to intensify military operations against Hamas and to control the whole of Gaza. Well, the UK has paused trade negotiations with Israel over the country's aid blockade in Gaza. It comes after the UN warned 14,000 babies could die in the next 48 hours if the blockade of the enclave continues. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy said the threat of starvation is hanging over hundreds of thousands of civilians in Gaza. He said the 11-week blockade stopping humanitarian aid reaching Gaza is indefensible and cruel. Addressing MPs, Lammy said the UK is suspending negotiations with the Israeli government on a new free trade agreement and is summoning the Israeli ambassador to the UK.
I'm announcing that we have suspended negotiations with this Israeli government on a new free trade agreement. We will be reviewing cooperation with them under the 2030 bilateral roadmap. The Netanyahu's government's actions have made this necessary. Madam Deputy Speaker, today, my honourable friend, the Minister for the Middle East, is summoning the Israeli ambassador to the Foreign Office to convey this message.
Well, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Tuesday insisted that the country is not withdrawing from the world as he batted away criticism of cuts to aid and diplomatic budgets from former colleagues in Congress. During a congressional hearing, Rubio had a tense exchange with Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen, who expressed regret over previously supporting Rubio. In response, Rubio defended his performance, asserting that he is effectively fulfilling his duties.
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job.
While U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said in a memo that the Pentagon will conduct a comprehensive review of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. In a memo, Hegseth said that after 3 months of reviewing the withdrawal, a comprehensive review was needed to ensure accountability for this event. In a statement accompanying the memo, he said Pentagon spokesperson and senior advisor Sean Parnell would lead the review. U.S. Central Command, which oversees operations in the Middle East, has also carried out an investigation into the Islamic State attack that killed 13 U.S. troops and dozens of Afghans during the last few days of the withdrawal. And EU foreign ministers on Tuesday agreed to lift economic sanctions on Syria, offering the nation another critical lifeline after the ouster of Bashar al-Assad. Bloc's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallis said that EU has always stood by Syrians throughout the last 14 years and will keep doing so. The European Union's top diplomat also said that there would be a review of the EU's trade agreement with Israel amid the situation in Gaza. The European Union's policy shift comes after President Donald Trump said last week he would order the lifting of U.S. sanctions on Syria. Syria's Foreign Minister Asad al-Shaibani thanked the EU on Tuesday, saying the decision would bolster Syria's security and stability. The United Kingdom and Europe have announced major sanctions against Russia on Tuesday without waiting for Washington to join them, as it became clear that Monday's call between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin had failed to deliver any meaningful concessions from Moscow. London and Brussels said their new measures would zero in on Moscow's shadow fleet of oil tankers and financial firms that have helped it avoid the impact of other sanctions imposed over the conflict. Taking to the social media post, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said it is important that America remain involved in the process of bringing peace closer. Trump had indicated on Monday, following his call with Putin, that the U.S. was not ready to join European sanctions efforts. Meanwhile, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said on Tuesday that Pope Leo had confirmed to her his willingness to host in the Vatican the next round of negotiations to try to end the conflict. And responding to the new sanctions, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova accused Europe of trying to prevent the resumption of direct dialogue, adding that Russia never responds to ultimatums.
Immediately after the talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations in Istanbul, Zelensky and his European buddies spoke in favor of strengthening of the anti-Russian sanctions. Yet again, they started to sing the old song about impossibility to trust Russia, which should be punished, as they put it, for the failure to obey ultimatum demand about 30-day ceasefire, which Kiev regime and its European sponsors tried to present as a certain step towards settlement. Russia never responds to ultimatums.
While top finance ministers from the G7 nations gathered on Tuesday in Banff, Canada, to address global economic instability with the Ukraine war and U.S. trade policies under President Donald Trump high on the agenda. Ukraine Finance Minister Sergei Marchenko attended the talks, seeking increased pressure on Russia and support for Ukraine's reconstruction. Canadian Finance Minister Francois Philippe Champagne emphasized solidarity with Ukraine, while U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent faces scrutiny over tariffs and inflation risks. Although not officially on the agenda, trade tensions are expected to shadow discussions. A final communique remains uncertain as members weigh differing priorities, particularly U.S. demands. And a United States judge on Tuesday ordered the Trump administration to ensure that a group of migrants being flown to South Sudan remain in U.S. immigration custody, citing concerns that they may have been deported in violation of a court order. During an emergency virtual hearing, U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy in Boston stated that while he wouldn't mandate the plane's return, the Department of Homeland Security could choose that option to comply with his directive. Murphy warned that officials could face criminal contempt charges if they were found to have breached his earlier order, which prohibited the rapid deportation of migrants to countries other than their own before they had a chance to present fears of torture or persecution. And U.S. immigration officials have reported at least 12 South Asian and Southeast Asian migrants to South Sudan. In fact, despite a court order blocking such removals, according to a Tuesday court filing. Lawyers say a Burmese man, N.M., and a Vietnamese national, TTP, were among those sent to the war-torn nation. The removals violate prior legal interventions and come amid renewed civil conflict in South Sudan. The Department of Homeland Security has not commented. The move follows the Trump administration's tightening immigration policies, including visa bans and expedited deportations under wartime laws, sparking legal and humanitarian outcry. And Madame Tussauds London unveiled a new statue of Britain's Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, on Wednesday. The new figure is styled in honour of an evening outfit Kate wore to King Charles' second annual diplomatic reception in December 2023. The Kate figure is also wearing a replica diamond and pearl tiara called the Lover's Knot tiara, along with replica pear-shaped Greville diamond earrings. A waxwork of Kate's husband and heir to the throne, Prince William, has also received an outfit change. His wax figure is now styled in a black Ede and Ravencroft tuxedo and a white-brown tie, along with replicas of his sash and army medals. The Wax Museum's new Kate figure stands alongside Prince William at the Royal Palace Experiences section that also includes waxworks of other royal dignitaries like King Charles and Queen Camilla. And still to come, DD India News Hour. Google launches new AI-powered search mode, marking shift in how users access online information. In the Indian Premier League, Mumbai Indians host Delhi Capitals in a must-win encounter on Wednesday. And Universal's Epic Universe wows media ahead of launch, Orlando's first new theme park in 25 years. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and on to some business news. Google on Tuesday unleashed another wave of artificial intelligence technology to accelerate a year-long makeover of its search engine that is changing the way people get information and curtailing the flow of internet traffic to websites. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, speaking at the company's annual developers event, said Google's search engine would feature a new AI mode, as he boasted that decades of research were reaching fruition with the new technology. The search engine's nascent AI mode goes further than the already launched AI overviews, which display answers to queries from the tech giant's generative AI powers above the traditional blue links to websites and ads. AI mode is being offered to all comers in the US just 2.5 months after the company began testing with a limited labs division audience. Google is also feeding its latest AI model, Gemini 2.5, into its search algorithms and will soon begin testing other AI features, such as the ability to automatically buy concert tickets and conduct searches through live video feeds. And you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Adrian Karmakar opened India's medal account at the ISSF Junior World Cup on Tuesday with a silver medal on debut in the 50-meter rifle prone event. The 20-year-old junior national champion missed out on gold by just 0.3 points to Sweden's Jesper Johannesson. Adrian delivered a stellar performance, emerging as one of the earliest finishers in the event. Adrian aggregated 626.7, setting a new junior national record in the event. Among the other Indian contenders, Rohit Kanyan finished 12th, while Vedant Nitin Wagmere ended in the 35th position. And Kerala's Sepak Takraw women team is elated to participate in the first ever Khelo India Beach Games. Visiting Diu and participating in beach games is a beautiful experience for these young girls. In an exclusive interview with DD India's Suchitra, these girls talked about their expectations from the beach games and their future plans.
Khelo India Beach Games in Diu, and we have with us Kerala's Sepak Takraw women team. So let's speak to them. So how is your experience of being in Diu and participating in Khelo India Beach Games?
Actually, ma'am, this was our first Khelo India Beach Games, and we are proud to participate in this game. And it was very good experience because it's very different in a beach. Okay, so we played 2 matches. Unfortunately, we lost, but next match we will win. I think we can do so.
Sepak Takraw is not a really popular game. Not many people know about it. So how did you come into this game, and what is the best part about this game that you like?
Kerala was invented Sepak Takraw in 23 years ago, and now it's that youth is upcoming players are playing better than seniors. So it will be a great opportunity to do this game because it have a central government and extra Khelo India, Narendra Modi is also supporting this game.
And Khelo India umbrella is getting wider day by day. Now Khelo India Beach Games is also added to the Khelo India Games. So how do you like this idea of hosting beach games every year?
It's very good idea, like it's promoting more players into this, and yeah, it's very good for the youth. They can get more exposure, which is very good for their future. And also their future will be secured by these upcoming projects.
What is your message for the young girls who want to play Sepak Takraw one day?
Sepak Takraw is actually a mixture of sports. It will not only it will empower the women. So we know in India many women are not always sitting in home and be like a wifey jobs now. So all of you want to become athletes, and we want to make it, like we know our motto is Fit India. So first we want to promote the women's also. Then it will grow like upgrow. That's it.
So Kerala's women Sepak Takraw team, they are really excited to participate in first ever Khelo India Beach Games, and these games have provided them a perfect platform to showcase their talent. With camera person Ajit, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India from Diu.
And we have Suchitra Bharadwaj joining us from Diu. Well, Suchitra, we saw Kerala women Sepak Takraw team express excitement. Now day 3 today. How are the games going? What all is planned for today?
Good morning, Lipakshi. Right now we are at Diu's beautiful Ghogla beach. This is one of the few blue flags beaches of India. Blue flag certification is given after certain requirements are met, be it cleanliness, safety measurements, and right now the open water swimming 10-kilometer race is on. You can see behind me, so on the Ghogla beach, open water swimming is a new thing for spectators to watch, and also beach games are now going to be a regular fixture in the Khelo India scheme. So we just hope that new games will be an addition to the Khelo India Beach Games. But right now, you can see behind me that open water swimming 10-kilometer race is on, and some other matches, beach soccer, beach kabaddi, those matches are also on. And in beach soccer, the quarterfinal matches are going on, and due to the rankings and the points that the teams are getting, a few teams are making to the semi-final stage. And you know, this is like the coastal area, so the mornings and the evenings are pleasant, and the afternoons are really sunny. The temperature is quite high. So keeping in mind the players' safety and their fitness, the schedule is organized in such a manner that some events are held in the morning in the pleasant hours and some in the evening. So right now the open water swimming and some of the soccer and beach kabaddi matches are on right now.
All right, Suchitra. Also, I'm sure a few action-packed days ahead. What kind of events and competition can we look forward to, and how do these games help nurture talent at the grassroots level?
Yes, Lipakshi, Khelo India scheme was started to nurture talent at the grassroots level, and we are seeing that the Khelo India umbrella is getting wider day by day. It started with Khelo India Youth Games, then there was university games, para games, and now the sports minister, he also talked about that there will be new additions to this umbrella. They are also planning to start tribal games, Khelo India tribal games and Northeast games. So it's really important to nurture the talent at the grassroots level. And the beach games, they will provide a perfect platform to the talented players in India who want to make a career out of the water sports. Because playing football, playing kabaddi is different, but when you play the same sports on sand, the surface is different and the feel is different, you know. The beach volleyball and beach kabaddi, in fact, sepak takraw and penchak silat. Yesterday the crowd was really excited. There was a good crowd support. So we can see there is an audience available for beach games in India. What we all need is a fixture, a fix thing like these beach games, and definitely we'll get some new players who will participate in the beach games. First on the national level, and one day they will go on to represent India at the international level. Lipakshi.
All right, I'm sure excitement at the highest there. Thank you so much, Suchitra, for all those details. And moving on, in the Indian Premier League, Mumbai Indians are set to host Delhi Capitals in a must-win encounter on Wednesday, with Royal Challengers Bangalore, Gujarat Titans and Punjab Kings already qualified for the playoffs. There is only one spot up for grabs. Mumbai Indians are placed 4th on the table with 7 wins, 5 defeats. They have 14 points to their name. DC, on the other hand, are 5th on the table with 6 wins and 5 defeats. They have 13 points to their tally. The Mumbai Indians versus DC is a knockout game for DC. If they lose, Mumbai Indians will qualify for the playoffs. And the Indian Cricket Board has announced that Indian Premier League Qualifier 2 and final will take place in Western City of Ahmedabad on June 1st and 3rd respectively, while the new Chandigarh will stage Qualifier 1 on May 29th and the Eliminator on May 30th. The new venues for the playoffs were decided by the IPL Governing Council, keeping in mind the weather conditions and other parameters. Furthermore, with an eye on the monsoon season, the BCCI also decided to shift the May 23rd fixture between Royal Challengers Bengaluru and Sunrisers Hyderabad from Bengaluru to Lucknow. The tournament resumed on May 17th after a brief suspension due to conflict between India and Pakistan. Well, a media contingent of 600 was mesmerized by the new Epic Universe theme park in Orlando, Florida, brought to life by Universal Media. 3 of the park's 5 immersive worlds have been unveiled ahead of its grand opening on May 22nd. Notably, this marks Orlando's first new theme park in over a quarter century. Guests are set to step into magical realms, from the Viking world of How to Train Your Dragon to the beloved gaming universe of Super Mario. With interactive experiences, thrilling rides and immersive landscapes, Epic Universe is poised to redefine theme park entertainment. Take a look. Right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.